Now, senators are urging Washington to engage in urgent dialogue with Moscow to minimise the risk of conflict. They've written a letter to the US Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson.
A US-Russia strategic dialogue is more urgent following President Putin's public address on March the 1st, when he referred to several new nuclear weapons Russia is reportedly developing, including a cruise missile and a nuclear underwater drone, which are not currently limited by the New START treaty and would be destabilizing if deployed.
Well, it really does feel like Putin's address earlier this month did prompt this and really hit its target of getting the West's attention. And while this letter is directed at the Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson, it urges him to begin strategic talks with Russia without delay. And within it, there's also contained warnings and accusations towards Russia. The allegation that Russia is in violation of the INF treaty is repeated within there, which, of course, Russia has repeatedly denied. And there are also calls to extend existing arms treaties with Moscow to cover the new weapons that Putin referenced in his address at the beginning of March. So clearly the U.S. is worried. But the fact is Russia has been alarmed by certain actions being taken by the West and by America in particular for quite some time now, not least of which being, Washington's expanding deployment of missile defense systems. They have them in Alaska. They have them in California. There's, of course, also NATO's continuous expansion into Eastern Europe. They have that in Romania and Poland as well, with future plans in other parts of the world. And what may have been the straw to break the camel's back here in this situation was in early February, we saw the U.S. release their nuclear posture review. And within that, it widened the gamut of scenarios where a nuclear response could be considered. And that includes in response to non-nuclear attacks. So rather frightening idea there. And all of that has been concerning Russia for some time, the balance of power in the world, or the lack thereof, maybe I should say. And Putin himself said on March 1st that maybe the world would listen to those concerns now.
Russia is a major nuclear power, but basically nobody wanted to talk to us. Nobody listened to us. So listen to us now.
So listen to us now, says the Russian president, and apparently there are a lot of things now to be listening to.
Yes, what he announced, these weapons are nothing to shake a stick at. There's the Saramut super heavy ICBM. That's a massive missile that Putin says is capable of defeating any defense system in the world. There's a cruise missile with an unlimited range, and that's among laser weapons and an underwater nuclear drone, so quite a bit there. And the senators say that due to Putin's announcement of these weapons, it's more important than ever to come to the table and talk with Russia in order to avoid conflict.
Even at the height of Cold War tensions, the United States and the Soviet Union were able to engage on matters of strategic stability. Leaders from both countries believed, as we should today, that the incredible destructive force of nuclear weapons is reason enough to make any and all efforts to lessen the chance that they can never be used again.
And that idea of strategic stability really seems to be on the same page with Putin's thinking, because after his speech on March the 1st, there was a lot of uproar that this was a threat to the world's security and whatnot. But the Russian president himself said that was not the goal, that Russia has no plans of attacking anyone. It's purely defensive, and that it's in fact to try and preserve peace in the world. So right now we, of course, have seen that U.S.-Russia relations have really hit an all-time low. And Moscow has already responded to this letter saying that before anything can be discussed, any new treaties can be discussed and whatnot, that really does need to get fixed. So that's at the forefront right now.
Well, in general, though, Russia has indicated it is open to the idea of dialogue with the US. We discussed the issue with experts.
The Americans started it, Obama first, and then Trump confirmed that they would look at their nuclear arsenal and modernize it. So you shouldn't be astonished that the President Putin on 1st of March also produced a series of new developments that are not in the START treaties. Very hopeful that America will start talking seriously with Russia and stop snobbing the Russians, as they've done for the last month and years.
Russia, and President Putin in specific, has laid out the declaration that if any Russian ally is attacked, that there is going to be a response from Russia. So if this gambit succeeds, the world is looking forward to a period of unparalleled peace, peace because there is no alternative.